Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. Week 9 top stacks. We're going to take a look at 5 stacks that I really like this week for tournaments, as well as the players that you can stack with them. You guys know that I double stack every one of my quarterbacks across my 150 lineups and in my single entry. And sometimes you can open that up to running backs. It doesn't just have to be wide receivers, but I'm very specific about the running backs that I will allow into my double stacks. So thank you guys for being here. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, leave me a reply down below with a stack that you like this week. And understand that this is just the way that I do things. These are the stacks that I think are grading out very well for me this week. And it doesn't mean that you have to play them. It doesn't mean that the stacks that you like are bad. It doesn't mean that I'm not showing love for some other stack. It's that these are just 5 of them and you can play. I don't care who you play. I care how you approach building your lineups. So that is what we're going to focus on this video. We're also going to plug them in to the Rotogrinders lineup HQ. There's a link down below in the pinned comment if you wanted to sign up for a new Rotogrinders subscription, smizzle.tv/Rotogrinders, or use that promo code SmizzLife at checkout. You get my best buys in their lineup HQ every single week as well. So let's look at the stacks.
He's a legend.
Quick reminder about the Smiz Gang Listener League. We've got that every single week. 3,000 entrants, $10, 3 max only. We shout out all the top 10 winners in this tournament every single Monday on Al Smizzle Games, the recap video on Al Smizzle Games, my second channel. Go sub to that channel as well. There's a link on the main YouTube channel, or just go to youtube.com/Al Smizzle Games, all one word. And there's no rake on this tournament. $30,000 in entry fees, 10 times 3,000. Yeah, the math checks out. It does equal 30,000. Goes right back out. Absolutely no rake, no service fee from Draftkings. Best tournament that exists on the site. And my first stack of the day is going to be the Cowboys with Dak Prescott. Very nice price for Dak this week. Coming back after a week off last week. And now he gets Denver, who has not been the best defense this year. And sold off a few parts. Dak, not the running QB that he used to be, though he still owns the ability to run. He's just not as, I don't know what the word would be, anxious, apt, not as likely to run. He's now like a pocket plus quarterback, still mobile, but does not rely on that. But so efficient in this offense. 2 straight games getting the 300-yard bonus, 4 straight games of 3 or more touchdowns, and they go to very specific pass catcher. So if we plug Dak into this lineup, we're going to take a look over here because, and I didn't do this. I'm the worst. CeeDee Lamb, he's dealing with a sprained ankle. He's limited at Thursday's practice. This video is recorded on Thursday. Monitor the Friday practice report. That's usually the most important and telling practice report throughout the week. If CeeDee Lamb's available, we're going to play with CeeDee Lamb this week. Obviously, if he's not, that does a couple of things. One, Amari Cooper is entirely too cheap. He's limited at every Wednesday practice. Never worry about Wednesday practice reports. Fridays are the ones that matter. 5,700 for Amari Cooper coming off of a big game. Michael Gallup, they want to see another week of work with him before playing him in Sunday, which kind of means that maybe Ced Wilson sees a few more targets at 3,600. We also have Blake Jarwin, who's dealing with an injury, does not practice on Thursday. Way more alarming than limited on Thursday. And now that would mean if he's out, that Dalton Schultz, who has already been extremely productive, would probably run more routes and get targeted on more of those routes this week. So we have a more consolidated target tree for the Cowboys than we would normally have. 60 targets from CeeDee Lamb, possibly vacated. Jarwin with 17 of those. Ezekiel Elliott, you see, getting 11.5% of the target market share on this team. Tales of his demise greatly exaggerated. Obviously, Tony Pollard has a role on this team, but Ezekiel Elliott is the one that's been fed. So if we go over to the Rotogrinders lineup builder and build our groups here, I'm going to make sure that I use 2 of the players. I'm not going to include Pollard in my Dak groups. Not going to include him, but I think that this is a week where you can include Ezekiel Elliott in those groups. Let's assume, for the sake of argument, that Jarwin's going to be out. Schultz becomes an even better value, and he will not be at this percentage in tournaments if Jarwin is out. Ced Wilson also will not hold this percentage if CeeDee Lamb is out. But you can see that you can get different. While Amari Cooper is going to be somebody who's held and Elliott's going to be somebody who's held, you can get different if Lamb plays by playing him. You can get different by including Dalton Schultz in a double stack with him as well. So a lot of ways to get different without getting stupid. We like being contrarian without being stupid on this channel. Is what we try to do. Josh Allen, he's good. Multiple touchdowns in every game except one. 3 rushing touchdowns on the year. 300-yard upside every single time that he takes the field. They throw the ball an awful lot too, which only, they're one of the pass heaviest offenses in the league when it comes to neutral game scripts. I'm not going to include Zach Moss, even though he did have 7 targets last week. It's really more likely that he falls into this range, getting 3 or 4 targets most weeks. Probably not going to use him. But Steph Diggs, one of my favorite regression candidates on the season at the midseason mark, where you can't get as many air yards, as many targets, and as many end zone targets and red zone touches as Steph Diggs has had, and really only have 3 touchdowns. I have not decided yet. I may lock Steph Diggs to every one of my Josh Allen lineups and then differentiate with that second player in the stack, taking a look at where they go. Steph Diggs, the number 1 target getter at almost 25%. Cole Beasley with 57 targets, all coming off a big game. Emmanuel Sanders, people are probably going to run away from Manny Sanders. One of the league leaders in terms of end zone targets this year, one of the league leaders in terms of air yards this year, and still gets 17.5% of the targets from Allen. And then we had kind of a meh game from Tommy Sweeney. If Dawson Knox still misses, he's going to play the bulk of the snaps there. So we can head right back over here. We'll click on Buffalo to build our stack group here. We're going to bump this up to make sure that we have 2 players. Not going to include either one of the running backs in this. Am going to keep Sweeney in there. Definitely going to keep Emmanuel Sanders. And look at the percentages that these guys are projected for right now. 1.5, 0.8. Beasley at 16.4. But like the other players, really super low. Probably not going to include Gabe Davis. I know that Gabe Davis is included around the end zone, but like there's no real upside unless he catches 2 touchdowns. He does not get enough targets for him to pay off enough as a secondary stack option in that double stack. So like double stacks of Buffalo are going to be somewhat lower percentage than you think they would be for a team with the highest total on the slate. I did want to take a second to remind you guys about our fundraiser for No Kid Hungry. We're at about $16,500 raised. When we hit 20,000 as a community, I will be matching that extra 5,000 with a double match of $10,000 more dollars. So we've already raised 16,000 as a community. I have committed 20,000 based on each $5,000 mark. When we hit 20,000, I will donate another 10. When we hit 25,000 by the end of the calendar year, I will donate another 10. I've pledged to donate another 10. So what, we got like $9,000 left from the community. Smizzle.tv/charity will take you to the Tiltify donation page. All of them are tax deductible. If you've benefited at all or just enjoy this content and wanted to help out, every single dollar helps. Go over to smizzle.tv/charity and drop a dime on No Kid Hungry for us. And like I said, your donations could get tripled if you donate and we hit those $20,000 or $25,000 benchmarks. Joe Burrow is my next stack. 6,800 for him. Hey guys, you know what? Joe Burrow was one of our regression candidates in the offseason. For those of you who watched my offseason streams, and there weren't that many of you who did, as well as my offseason videos, it was impossible for Joe Burrow to throw the ball as many times for as many yards as he threw last year and maintain a 3% touchdown percentage. He's thrown multiple touchdowns in every single game this year. And now he's got about an 8% touchdown rate, which means I'm probably going to be filming a video this offseason about how Joe Burrow is probably going to regress to the mean in the opposite direction, because 8+% for a touchdown percentage is also not sustainable. But it may not happen in this season because regression doesn't happen from game to game. And he's got some really great weapons playing along with him. And there's not that many of them, which is what we really look for when we're stacking teams, right? So like, not going to include the running backs. I know that Joe Mixon did catch a touchdown last week in 2 out of the last 3 and has seen 11 targets in 2 out of the last 3 games total, but I'm not going to be including him in my stacks. It's just kind of highly variant. Some days he has like 1 or 2 targets. Some days he has 5 or 6. But Jamar Chase has been really good. T. Higgins has been really good. Boyd and Uzoma would be the 4 guys that really you only have to worry about in the passing game here. So that's great. And when we're talking about double stacking, as you can see here, Jamar Chase with 24% of the target market share, T. Higgins with 21.5%, and Tyler Boyd with 21. So sprinkling in 2 of these guys and then maybe going with Uzoma as a lower allocated guy in your stacks works out for me, because you really don't have to worry about anything else. And you look at the red zone: Jamar Chase 23%, T Higgins 23%, then Boyd, then Mixon, then Uzoma down here. Uzoma would be my 4th target that I'd be looking for. I want to have mostly those first 3 guys is who I'm looking for. So very easy to double stack this one. P. Ryan out. Yes, sure, but I'm going to weight him down a little bit. Tate, no. Thomas, no. And again, look at the percentage. A lot of people are going to be on T. Higgins because he is popping as a value versus his salary. But if Jamar Chase is only going to have 2% of the field on him this week, I want to be on Jamar Chase, especially considering that they seem to have taken a focus of getting him more end zone targets, at least on a 1-week sample, which is the thing that we said was going to have to happen for him to maintain the touchdown efficiency that he's had so far this season, is to gain more end zone targets. So very easy to stack this team. 3 primaries, 1 guy that's a little bit off of that. You can bring it back with somebody on Cleveland, and considering that they're missing a receiver, consolidated on that end as well. Lamar Jackson, the stack number 4. You know him. I don't need to go over how great he is and what he can do for your team. And here's really the issue. Sammy Watkins kind of muddies everything up. He returned to practice on Thursday. He's only 4,300. He had not participated since his hamstring injury. Monitor this as the week goes on. If Sammy is practicing, then that makes me like Bateman less, because he's going to eat into Bateman snaps, and Bateman is also going to eat into Watkins snaps. It doesn't mean that I only want a single stack Lamar Jackson, because if I think that Lamar Jackson is going to have a tournament winning day, he is likely going to throw for more than 1 touchdown. It's possible for him to get there and be a tournament winning quarterback and not throw for more than 1 touchdown. You know, well, Lamar's only thrown for 1 here and 1 here and 1 here and 1 here. But on none of those days has he posted a tournament winning score. 20 points, 22 points, 13 points, 23. The game where he was a tournament winning quarterback was against Indy at 45.88. And yeah, he ran for a lot of yards, but he threw 4 touchdowns in that game. And that's the type of output that we look for. The game against Kansas City, where he ran for 2 and had 107, still completed 18 passes for 239, only had that 1 touchdown in that game. Of all the outcomes, if you look for the last 3 years that Lamar has been a starter, he is the games that he has scored over 30 fantasy points, he has definitely been able to sustain 2 pass catchers rather than not. So it's more of an outlier for him to have that tournament winning day and not complete multiple touchdown passes. And with as consolidated as his target tree really is, it makes it pretty easy to build this group. Mark Andrews, one of the best tight ends in the league. I believe 2nd in the league in air yards at the position. For now, I'm going to include Watkins. I'm also going to include Bateman, but really it's going to be a 3-man group depending on which way I go between Bateman and Watkins. Watch that injury there. And my last group, you know, this one always induces a little bit of verping from everybody. I understand. Don't roll your eyes so hard that you bust an orbital bone here, but Daniel Jones has the potential to be good on a week in, week out basis. Yeah, you're risking floor, but if you're playing tournaments, I don't give a flying about the floor. Stop worrying about floor in tournaments. I only care about ceiling. That's it. 30 fantasy points, 29 fantasy points. I care about how I can stack them and how I can get there. So Daniel Jones, with this sort of variance between his floor and his ceiling, I only want to be there on the days that he has the ceiling. But in order to be there on the days he has the ceiling, I have to be willing, at the very least, to risk the floor outcome. And when you consider that, once again, he's got injuries. Sterling Shepard probably not going to play. Kenny Golladay, questionable, non-participant on Wednesday. Follow Jordan Ronan on Twitter and figure out who's going. But Kadarius Toney does look like he's going to play in this game, and we know what happened when Kadarius Toney did not get much competition for targets on this team. Slayton, another player at 4,000. Not a lot of competitions for targets on this team at tight end. Evan Engram, we hate him. Thanks, I hate it. Kyle Rudolph, the red zone reindeer. Thanks, kind of hate it. But you can get there, and this will be another one where I'm willing to use the running back as a part of the stack, because without Barkley, Booker is kind of too cheap against Las Vegas and at home in this spot, and has garnered 4 targets or more in every single one of the 4 games that he has played to spell Saquon Barkley, except for the one against Carolina where they won by 22 points. So like, it makes sense that they did not have to throw the ball as much. You can look at their target market share, which is ridiculously skewed because of how many guys have been injured every single week. Basically, play the guys who are playing this weekend when it comes to the Giants. If you're going to stack Jones, he does grade out very well on DraftKings, but grades out actually better on FanDuel, this Giants double, including the running back. So like, I'm going to include Booker. I might allow them. I'll probably weight down the 2 tight ends. Not going to be playing Caden. We'll leave Tony. We'll leave him. We'll take out Galladay for now. We'll just kind of monitor this as the week goes on. I'm going to be real heavy Tony on these stacks because I think that he is the primary option with high likelihood of over 10%, over 10 targets in this game if everybody else that projects to be out, and he runs a lot in the slot as opposed to the games where Shepard runs a lot in the slot when they're both there. So that's where Tony can really thrive, and every one of those targets at sub 10 in terms of average depth of target basically calculates to a 1.66 average expected fantasy points on DraftKings. So bonus possibilities, touchdown possibilities, high target, high floor, high ceiling, and very low projected percentage in tournaments. Hopefully this video helped you. If it did, drop a like. Go to smizzle.tv/charity. Leave me a comment. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.